Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Today I wanted to do a kind of ranking video of a lot of the recent books that I have finished. That's for this year from January until basically the end of March. There's still about 3 or 4 books that I'm like partially through, and I'm not going to include those in this video just because I do not think I'm going to finish them by April. So they'll probably be in the next 3 or so months when I'll do this video again, ranking the rest of the books. So this one is just books I've read so far this year. There's not too many of them. I think I average about 1 book every 1 to 2 weeks or so. And so my goal for the year is to at least read 50 books because that's generally about what I can do. So I want to try to stay on track with what I've been doing for the past few years, which is 50 books. Last year I tried 100 and that was so unrealistic. It just did not happen. So I'm going to try to do 50. But then again, it doesn't matter how many books you read, just as long as you enjoy it, right? So let's get into this video. I'm going to start with explaining the kind of tracker type chart thingy that I made. A lot of people use that like online form, and I wanted to create something of my own that was very similar, but it was like something I made. I used Photoshop for this, and I screen recorded me putting all the books into the categories. So it was actually really fun and I enjoyed it. Okay, so I'm going to be watching that video that I made on my iPad and trying to follow along. So I'm going to start. So I created 5 different categories, and the first one is Tier 1, which is my favorite books. Tier 2, books I highly recommend. Tier 3, pretty good. Tier 4, meh. Tier 5, probably a DNF. So the first book is Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, and this is by Jen Campbell. This is the first book that I read this year, and it is kind of just like a compilation of a bunch of different people's quotes, like things that they actually experienced in a bookshop. I'm going to put that under pretty good because it was okay. I enjoyed it. I got a kick out of it because I worked in a bookstore, and so I felt like I was able to relate to a lot of what these people said. But I don't know if everyone would enjoy it, but it's a very, very fast read. I got through it like in a day. Because it's just a few quotes on every page. So it was funny. It would be a good gift for a book lover in your life. The second book is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. And this I listened to as an audiobook, and I really enjoyed this one a lot. I felt like there was some pretty good like plot twists and stuff like that. So I really liked it. And I really like watching the author's social media accounts because I feel like she's really funny and I love her sense of humor. So that just makes me love this book even more. I'm going to put this one, it wasn't like my super favorite. I'm going to put it in Tier 2, which I highly recommend. This next one is The 12 Days of Dash and Lily. And as much as I loved like the first book and that story, this one I'm going to put under meh because I feel like the whole time the main characters were just misunderstanding each other and fighting. I just didn't care for it. Booked on a Feeling by J.C. Lee. So this is another audiobook that I listened to, and I really liked the cover of this one, so it drew me to it. But I barely remember the story. I feel like maybe because I listened to it as an audiobook, maybe I wasn't super focused on it, but also I wasn't super duper invested in it. But I just remember it took like halfway through, I started liking the characters more and liking the story more. I would say that I'm going to put it in the category of pretty good because I did enjoy it. I think if I had read the physical copy, I would have liked it more. The Butcher and the Wren. This is the next one. I listened to this as an audiobook. If you can see a theme this year, I've been doing a lot more audiobooks just because I'm able to work or I'm cleaning or doing something while listening to it. This one I actually really enjoyed. I didn't think that I would, but I actually enjoyed it. The audiobook was pretty good to listen to. I was invested in the story, and I know a downside that other people have talked about with this book is that you get like the point of view of the murderer. And so it kind of makes it not as, I don't know, there's not as much mystery involved, I guess. So this one was okay. I'm going to put this one, I did like it a lot, but I don't think about it all the time. So I'm just going to put it in pretty good. It was an enjoyable book, but I don't have too many thoughts on it. But I would recommend it. Slewfoot. I absolutely loved Slewfoot. I thought it was really good. I saw it from a different YouTube book channel, and so I just knew I had to read it. It looked right up my alley. It took me a little bit of time to get to it though, because it's kind of a bigger book and the writing is pretty small. And so I thought I was going to take forever reading it, but actually I got into it really, really fast, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I'm going to put this one, I bet you can guess, in my tier 1. It's definitely a favorite so far this year. And I also really liked this because there's some pictures in it, some artwork that I thought was very pretty. I loved the artwork, loved the story, really hated some of the characters, and was glad when, you know, certain things happened. And I want to read more by this author. I know that they wrote a book called Krampus, and I want to read that and then watch, I think there's also a movie. I don't know if it's based on that book, but that is definitely a book I want to read, but it's like a holiday, like Christmas book, like a Christmas horror novel. So I want to get that for later this year. I will for sure be reading that later this year. The next book is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This I read on the Kindle, and overall I really kind of liked this book. I liked the characters and the story, where it went. But it didn't have like the wow factor I was hoping for. I heard so many rave reviews, and I was expecting it to be just like a little bit better, but I do still think about this book quite often. I really liked it. I will definitely read more by this author. So I'm going to put this one under tier 2. I highly recommend it, especially if you like mystery novels. And then we have The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. I've read from this author before, and I do like their books. This one seemed intriguing. It was an audiobook that I listened to, and I'm getting this one confused with another one that I read, because they seem very, very similar. And I'll tell you when that book comes up. But this book is a mystery, and it's about, I think this person like runs kind of B&B in this town or something, but people go missing all the time, like on the, I don't know, hiking trails or something. So I thought this one was really interesting. But like I wouldn't buy it myself now that I've listened to the audiobook. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one into the category tier 3, pretty good, because I did enjoy it. So, but nothing like super special or anything. When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is one that I was wanting to read for quite a long time. I would always see it at Target, and I would always hesitate about buying it. Absolutely love the cover. Like, I don't know why, I just love that cover so much. I mean, it's gorgeous. This one was a really good read. I listened to it on an audiobook, but I was very captivated, and I like got most of the story. I really like the main character's like voice. They're like the way that they the way it's written, I guess. I was really rooting for that character, and just the thought behind the book. It's just this neighborhood, and the people are kind of getting like, they're leaving. So it's like they're selling their house, and then it's coming in and getting like everything's all getting upgraded and stuff. But it's like, it's weird that people are moving like they would never move. So it's a thriller, and it definitely, I highly recommend it. It was so good. If I see the physical copy, I want to get it. I saw it Oh, I saw it at a Friends of the Bookstore, but it was like the mini version. It was like a small paperback. I want the like full-size paperback, so I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for that one. But you can tell where I'm going to put this. This is definitely tier one, some of my favorite. Oh, my second favorite book of the year. Sarah Geo with Love from London. This was an audiobook I listened to mostly as I was working, and I don't really remember it, like at all, really. I think it was about a girl who kind of quit everything in her life and moved to London and started, or she was like working in this bookstore that her mom or something used to work in, something like that. But I think the confusing part for me was because it was an audiobook, I believe that there was two different characters' point of view, but like I missed that somehow, so I was really confused at times. But I just remember getting near the end. I really liked the last quarter of the book. So this is why I put it in tier 3 pretty good, because overall I did enjoy the story, even though I was really confused at first. This is one I would probably revisit just to remind myself like what it was about. The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I really, really liked this one. I enjoyed it. It was an audiobook I listened to. And again, I was like captivated by this one. I just wanted to keep listening to it. And I know that there's like, they made it into a show or movie or something. So that's something I'm going to want to watch. I believe this book was like one of the Reese Witherspoon like book club picks. And I tend to like those. So that's why I decided to listen to this one. It was available for my library. So I'm going to say this one was pretty good. It's like a mystery because like the husband or something like totally disappears and just says protect her, which he means his daughter. But the whole time you're like, wow, what happened? Like, where did he go? Why is he missing? Yeah. Not really like super into how the book resolves, but I mean, I guess it's still okay. I'm not like super critic about it. I just kind of wish there was like more explained, I guess. I just felt like it was missing something at the end, but overall, I pretty much liked it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in tier 2, highly recommend. It was overall a good book. Like, I did enjoy it a lot. The Last Guess by J.P. Pomare. I am totally not pronouncing this right. But this is the author of the book that reminds me a lot of the like Megan Miranda story. So I kept kind of getting these ones confused. But this one I actually really enjoyed. I keep thinking about it a lot. But it's about this couple. They're kind of like, hey, we need some money. Like, we have a lake house. Let's Airbnb it. And so they do. But there's like something about cameras being installed places, and people are like secretly like going on paying money to like watch these live cams. So I think the scary thing is like, this could be real. Like, that could actually be a thing. But this book kind of took some crazy turns, and I like really liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. There was like an aspect of the book I didn't like, because like there's a whole thing where it like starts with the woman cheating on her husband and she gets caught on a live cam, and I almost put the book away when I read that, because I just like am not cool with like stories about cheating. They're not for me. And so I almost put this one away. But then there's like, I don't know, it got better, and like she felt really, I don't know, guilty, I guess. But I actually liked where this went. There was some kind of crazy twist that I was like, whoa. Well, I put it into pretty good just because, you know what? Yeah, I put it into tier 3 because even though I think about it a lot, it's not something that I want to reread. So I want to try a different book by this author and see if I get like, if I like it more or like it just as much, but it just didn't compete with my tier 2 book. So Bookish People by Susan Cole. So I absolutely love the cover of this. The fact that it's about a book, like bookstore, bookish people. There's a dog on the cover. So this one, I don't know what to say about it because I don't remember it because it was an audiobook. and I just wasn't super duper into it. I think I listened to this one a lot at night or when I just woke up in the morning, and I would kind of fall asleep to it. I would have to go back and then listen to it again, and I kept getting lost, and I just wasn't really into this story. So I don't really know what to tell you it's about. I think it's about a bookstore, and there's, I don't know, the people that come to the bookstore. I don't know if she had to save the bookstore. I literally cannot tell you what it was about, so I'm going to put it in meh because obviously I didn't care. And then we have Grady Hendrix, How to Sell a Haunted House. Absolutely love the cover. I only am just now realizing that it is a dollhouse, and there's like the baseboard and carpet. The whole time I thought that was like the house. So that's kind of funny. So it's a toy. It makes more sense when you read the story. Yeah. So this one I really liked, but it's like 400 pages long. I didn't get into it until page 200. Like literally had to read half the book, and then I was super into it. So like the first half is just like the siblings kind of fighting over inheritance, essentially. And there's like one or two like kind of spooky scenes, but it doesn't really hit until halfway through. And then the last half is just insane. I loved it. It's like true Grady Hendrix novel, right? You got your creepy scenes, your like gory descriptive scenes. But I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, there's always in Grady Hendrix novels, there's like one scene that I will never forget. So I'm thinking of like the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Is there like a shorter title that we can use for that? We're just gonna say his vampire book. The scene with her in the attic. If you know, you know. Then there's also like My Best Friend's Exorcism. There was a few scenes in that one. And this one is the scene in the garage with, I don't want to give any spoilers, but the scene in the garage, like near the end. Yeah, so this one, of course, I'm going to put it in my favorite category because I just love books by this author, and I love the creepiness of them. I think about them a lot. I think I was even dreaming about them. And then someone I saw a puppet, I think at like my sister's house or something, and I was just like, no, I don't like puppets now. New fear acquired. And the last book we have, Taylor Jenkins Reid, One True Loves. And I have never read a Taylor Jenkins Reid novel. I heard a lot of people like them, very popular. This one was an audiobook that I got from the library, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. Like, it's kind of a crazy story because it's about a woman who was married and she lost her husband, so she thought. And so she moved on with her life, and she's engaged now. And then her husband comes back from wherever he was. I think he was like on a deserted island or something. And he comes back. And so she's like, she has her husband who she thought was dead for years and years. And now she has her fiance. And she's like, what does she, like, I can't even fathom that decision. Like, how terrible. But also it's like, oh my gosh, your husband, he's alive. But also it's like, 2 years have passed. Like, it was a crazy story. I really, really liked it. So I'm going to put it into my tier 2. I highly recommend that story. So that is it. That is all the books that I have read. And I found some pretty good ones. The only one I'm still kind of like hesitant about is The Last Guest, because I'm like, do I want that in tier 2? I might move it there, because honestly, I still think about it today. But maybe it's because it's my first book by the author. I'm just like, oh, there's things I would want. I don't know. There's things I didn't like in there. But I did like the twisty story. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. And let me know if you have read any of these, or if you want to read any of these now that, I don't know, I kind of rated them. And again, if some of these books are, your favorite and I rated them low, then I'm sorry, but everyone has their different opinions. And I'm really glad that I found Slewfoot when no one's watching and how to sell haunted house. Those are amazing. So thank you so much for watching. See you later.